and open up a public hearing on Senate Bill 500.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Senate Bill 500 appropriates general fund dollars to construct a Boys and Girls Club in Rockwood area of Gresham and declares an emergency as effective July 1st, 2015.
Thank you. And I'm not sure how to do this, but out of an abundance of caution, I think I need to declare a conflict of interest because I sit on the board of a Boys and Girls Club. Is that all I have to do?
Madam Chair, I believe that's the rule on the House side. There is not yet in committee a corresponding rule, but it certainly doesn't hurt. An abundance of caution, as you said.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. I'm State Senator Lori Monnes Anderson. I represent Gresham, Troutdale Village, Fairview, and parts of East Portland, and I'm delighted to bring to you Senate Bill 500. Basically, it appropriates money for construction of a Boys and Girls Club in Rockwood, which is in my district. The Rockwood community faces really critical challenges that place youth at a tremendous risk. We have the highest incidence of crime in our region's history, including gang violence and drug and sex trafficking, and we're trying to bring services with proven track records of success to Rockwood. East Multnomah County has very few resources. We have a very low tax base, and we're starting to get more services out there. But with the largest concentration of youth under the age of 18 within the metro region, Rockwood has led the state for the lowest academic performance and graduation rates. Over the past 10 years, gentrification has aggressively pushed poverty into East Multnomah County. 25% of the families in Rockwood are living at or below the poverty level, compared to 10% overall for Oregon. And the median household earnings are 23% lower than the average Portland metro. Rockwood families are twice as likely to receive state food assistance compared to state statistics, and unemployment rates for individuals living in Rockwood near 13% compared to Oregon's 8% overall. 9 out of 10 children living in Rockwood seek free or reduced lunch assistance. The Reynolds School District serving Rockwood youth post almost a 58% of students on track to graduate on time, compared with the national rate of 80%. 50% of the district's economically disadvantaged students are not on track to graduate on time, and only 50% of male students in the Reynolds District graduated on time in 2013. So as you can see, services are woefully lacking in Rockwood as well as in East Multnomah County. And of the 500 organizations serving children and families in the Portland metro area, only 15 are located within the Rockwood community that has the highest incidence of crime in the state of Oregon, the worst in the region's history. Since 2006, gang-related incidents across Multnomah County have increased 281%. Fundraising has already started for the Rockwood Center. I'm not going to get into the specifics of that because we have a lot of experts here to talk about it. But the primary goal is to raise $9.5 million to build and maintain the facility. And we are requesting in Senate Bill 500, although it's not stated, $1 million to help in this endeavor. The entire campaign goal is $13.2 million. Colleagues, we need to help the neediest, and Oregon needs to be a partner in this endeavor. The Boys and Girls Clubs have a track record of making a positive difference in kids' lives, and this facility will be a catalyst for positive change in my community. And I urge your support of Senate Bill 500. Thank you.
Representative Piluso, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Gelsler and members of the Senate Committee on Human Services and Early Childhood. For the record, my name is Carla Piluso, and I am the proud representative from House District 50, site of the future home of the Boys and Girls Club Rockwood. I'm here to speak on behalf of Senate Bill 500 to secure funding for a Boys and Girls Club facility in the Rockwood neighborhood. The mission of the Boys and Girls Club of Portland metropolitan area is to enable all young people, especially those who need it most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. And with your help and consideration, we can bring that mission to the families of Rockwood. The Boys and Girls Club Rockwood would serve East Multnomah youth and families from an area of Oregon known to be historically underserved and lacking in vital community services. I've worked in law enforcement for 30 years with the Gresham Police Department and was honored to serve as the chief for my last 6 years. I balanced my police career by working with nonprofits that support the needs of families living in or on the brink of poverty. I serve currently as the board chair of Human Solutions, a nonprofit that serves Outer East Portland and East Multnomah County. I chair Multnomah County's Commission on Children's, Families, and Communities and regularly volunteer with Snowcap Community Charities, the food bank for East Multnomah County. From my experience, I can tell you that the children in East Multnomah County are more likely to live in poverty, to be food insecure, and impacted by gang violence. The Boys and Girls Club Rockwood will benefit these youth and support families. It is so much more than an after-school program. Through the club, youth can and will receive academic support, career preparation, nutritional information and access to health care, a positive space to develop healthy relationships, mentoring programs, prevention and intervention services for youth impacted by drugs and alcohol or struggling with mental health issues. In the law enforcement and education communities, we know that the most effective programs in promoting positive life outcomes for youth are administered in their community. Without the Boys and Girls Club Rockwood, the children and teams that have the greatest needs for those services will be the hardest to reach. Additionally, programs like this support families by allowing parents to work or search for employment outside of normal school hours. Where there is a Boys and Girls Club in a community, the whole community is better for it. The Boys and Girls Club Portland and metropolitan area does great work and positively impacts the lives of the children and teens in their programs. By supporting this new facility, we are transforming a neighborhood and serving the heart of the Rockwood community. I made Gresham my home 36 years ago. I chose to raise and educate my daughter in Gresham. I live, play, and work in Gresham. It is my home, it is my community, and I am proud to be a part of Gresham. I have lived in Gresham long enough to remember a strong Rockwood, with a thriving business community, the best ever spring break carnival, neighbors helping neighbors, and fine restaurants. 5 years ago, the Rockwood Building, a multi-service center with affordable housing attached, was opened. 2 years later, the Multnomah County East County Courthouse was built, and 2 years after that, the Gresham Police Department Rockwood Precinct was built, all approximately with a 1-mile radius of the new Boys and Girls Club Rockwood site. This construction was the beginning of big change for Rockwood. I believe, actually I know, the addition of the Boys and Girls Club Rockwood will be the catalyst for needed change and tip the scale for the rebirth of the Rockwood neighborhood. It will be the anchor for change and the prosperity of Rockwood. Couple that with growth of support, knowledge, self-esteem, and positive role modeling, and we will have children and teens that will be far less likely to be suspects or victims of crime. The Boys and Girls Clubs are crime prevention at its finest. In closing, we are lucky to have the CEO as well as the Chief Communication and Development Director of the Portland area clubs here, along with board and community members. They will address the specific needs of the plans for the facility, their funding needs, and collectively answer any questions you have. Thank you, Chair Gelsler and members of the committee. I thank you in advice for your consideration of support of our youth and my community. I appreciate your time and urge you to support Senate Bill 500. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any questions for our colleagues here? None. Thank you both very much. So next we have up Eric, is that Karsten, Tracy Rose, and Aaron Hubert, please. Welcome. Thank you. And the way this works is before you begin your testimony, if you just start with your name for the record, that will help us out a lot. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I'm Eric Avarston. I serve as the City Manager of Gresham. It's an honor to provide testimony in favor of Senate Bill 500. For more than a century, the Boys and Girls Club have been a staple in communities across America, offering their proven brand of youth development guidance for our nation's most at-risk youth. These clubs can be found throughout our state, from Portland to Ontario down to Coos Bay, but not in Gresham. Over the past couple of years, Gresham has developed a strong partnership with the Boys and Girls Club of Portland metropolitan area. The clubs are eager to bring their services to Gresham's youth, and our residents are thrilled about the prospect of having a Boys and Girls Club in Gresham. In the interim, the Boys and Girls Club have begun serving some of Gresham's youth through scaled-back operations within 3 public schools, as well as in 3 of our city's parks through our new Summer Kids in the Park program. But as wonderful as these programs are, they are no substitute for the community's real need. A full-size, full-service facility dedicated to youth development located in the heart of Rockwood, our West Gresham neighborhood, with the greatest number of youth in need. The timing for this new Boys and Girls Club couldn't be better. From 2000 to 2012, the number of Gresham residents living in poverty has grown by 148.5%, while the overall population grew by just 17.6%. All the data shows that Gresham is rapidly becoming more diverse and economically challenged. Meanwhile, our own budget constraints have prevented the city from operating a youth recreation department for more than a decade. With the growing need and lack of other resources, there's arguably no community in the state in greater need of a Boys and Girls Club right now. The proposed facility and this important bill represent smart investments in health, education, and public safety. When this new Boys and Girls Club opens its doors, it will create opportunity for hundreds of at-youth risk every day. According to their most recent Boys and Girls Club National Outcomes Report, these young people will immediately become more likely to graduate from high school, more likely to attend college, less likely to engage in physical fights, and a host of other positive outcomes. This is exactly what Gresham needs in order to stimulate and sustain long-term progress in our community. Thank you for your consideration of this very important matter.
Chair Gelser, members of the committee, thank you very much for having us here today. My name is Tracy Rose, and I am the Chief Advancement Officer for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Portland Metro. I'm going to echo a few of the comments that you've already heard today to set the stage for why we ended up in Rockwood. You've heard about the mounting effects of the gentrification of North and Northeast Portland and the push of poverty into East County. The community hardest hit by this rapid population growth is Rockwood. The largest concentration of youth, as you've heard, are under the age of 18. The Rockwood community today faces critical challenges that place young people at tremendous risk. These challenges include a burgeoning school district that is considered one of the largest in the state, serving youth within the boundaries of 3 city limits. Rockwood students are posting some of Oregon's lowest academic scores, and graduation rates rank 7% below state average at a time when Oregon ranks at one of the worst in the country. Rockwood arguably has the highest incidences of crime in our region's history, with the number of documented gang members living within this community tripling over the last 10 years. 40% of Multnomah County residents listed on probation or parole, and 50% of the child welfare cases are residing in Rockwood. This neighborhood also sports some of the region's highest incidences of child sex trafficking and drug-related crimes. As a result of the unexpected closure in early 2013 of the Police Activities League, the PAL Center, the only youth after-school and summer facility of its kind in East County, resulted in the loss of youth programming for the Rockwood neighborhood. Staying true to our mission of serving youth who need us most, Boys and Girls Clubs of Portland Metro stepped in to ensure a continuum of programming for the more than 300 youth served at the PAL Center. Our organization immediately raised nearly $400,000 to secure 2 years of funding to transition those youth into 3 school-based sites in partnership with the Reynolds School District. We are now poised to build a new Boys and Girls Club on the site of the former Drake 70s nursery at the corner of Southeast 165th and Stark. The site, chosen by the Mayor of Gresham for its visibility and accessibility in this community, provides the opportunity to repurpose an existing retail space into the new club design, which will save the organization approximately $500,000. In construction costs. The new facility will be approximately 30,000 square feet, and with the additional land on this site, active plans are underway to partner with non-redundant youth service organizations to create a campus of wraparound services dedicated to kids and families in the Rockwood community. So where there was once one youth service facility, there now, in the next 2 years, could possibly be 4 or more. Thank you.
And those 4 organizations would be serving youth from 0 to 18, I would add. Chair Gelser, members of the committee, my name is Erin Hubert, and I'm the CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Portland. My thanks to Senator Monnes Anderson and Representative Piluso for their enthusiastic support of this bill. We know this is a really special opportunity, and thank you, Eric, for being here today. Well, you've heard some of the reasons why we've been so compelled to get involved with this project. With the largest school district in Oregon, there's arguably no other neighborhood in our great state that's in greater need than Rockwood. It has so many far-reaching implications on our state's key performance indicators relative to academic success and public safety success. It's bringing those down for the state. Boys and Girls Clubs of Portland serve youth from the ages of 6 to 18 in the neighborhoods that need us most. We provide enrichment, wraparound services designed for impact and outcomes around 3 areas: academic excellence, good character and leadership traits, and healthy lifestyles. There is currently nothing like this in the entire Gresham community, and particularly Rockwood, serving youth in this comprehensive fashion. At the moment, we operate in 4 Portland metro counties with 6 standalone club sites. We are also embedded in 7 schools in partnership with 3 school districts, including Park Rose, Reynolds, and Clackamas, serving over 7,000 youth a year. Membership fees are $5 per year for the youth we serve in these distressed communities. If they can't pay it, we scholarship it, and generally if they're not paying it, it's because you have completely disengaged parental situation, which surprisingly is about 75% of our youth base, unfortunately. Only about 15% of our funding comes from any sort of government funding, including county, city, state, or federal funds. Thus, we fundraise for the preponderance of our annual operating needs, which is currently around $5.5 million. As Senator Monnes Anderson said, this overall project is a $13.2 million project. It will allow us to build a 30,000 square foot facility. It will have a full-size gym, an industrial kitchen that will feed snacks and fully chef-prepared dinners every evening for the kids. Many times it's one of the few meals they get in the day. It will have enrichment teaching rooms, an art room, music room, a teen center, and playrooms. It will also have this extra field that may be a soccer field. We're still figuring out the best use that will also serve the community as well as our kids. This campaign will also raise 3 years' worth of operating funds for the new facility, which is a Boys and Girls Clubs of America best practice requirement. It will create a maintenance reserve to keep the building functional and safe well into the future. And it will infuse money into our overall organization so that taking on this new project doesn't cannibalize our current and future financial stability, which was a little shaky coming out of the recession. While the many issues this long-suffering community has faced were long treated as solely a Gresham problem, that's changed. Jurisdictional lines between Portland and Gresham are melting away quickly. Civic leaders, business leaders, and community leaders are recognizing that given the size and scope of this community and the woeful statistics that are worsening each year, it's time we all take notice and come up with solutions to stem the tide of spiraling statistics. It's no longer just Gresham's problem. It's now a Portland metro and statewide concern that we all must join together to address. That's why we're here before you today, and I thank you.
Thank you all very much. Are there questions for this panel? Senator Dembro.
I do, and I'd like to follow up on that last comment. I represent the district that's right next to Senator Monnes Anderson's, and you know, I suspect that many of the kids who will be going to this center will be from my district, and so I fully understand the challenges that are faced there. Most people around the state don't realize that Multnomah County is home to some of the greatest poverty in the state. They think of Multnomah County as a place of great wealth, but the reality is, of course, very different. The pushback that we can expect to get from some of our colleagues is why this one-off, contribution to this center, and I think you were getting at something very important at the end. I wonder if you could expand on that a little bit. Why should we why should we single out this area, as opposed to something that would benefit the entire state?
From my point of view, I think excuse me, Chair Gelser and Senator Dembro. From my point of view, I think it's reached a tipping point where it's bringing the state down. Again, for a long time, this community suffered with these issues, and it was gentrification from Portland, and I think it just didn't get paid attention to. And it has reached such a crescendo that I'm seeing all the leaders come together, regardless of jurisdiction, Portland to Rockwood. But I'm even seeing now is it almost feels like the state needs to come together, because Reynolds is so big, that school district, and this community, it's bringing our statistics down in the state. We're the worst graduation rate in the entire country, with some of the worst absenteeism rates. And this is the largest school district. You can start to see where all of a sudden it has a unique situation that probably needs a one-off, where before maybe not. Did I articulate that a little bit better, what you're looking for?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you.
Senator Monnes Anderson.
We had talked about this before through emails, trying to maybe see if there was certain funding available within our budget here in Ways and Means. And could you talk a little bit about the conversation that you had with the former chief of police of Portland and designating possibly funds coming from a certain piece of whatever?
Chair Gelser and Senator Monnes Anderson. In fact, former Chief Reese, I still call him Chief, is with us today. He's the board chair for my board, and he was speaking to me about some funds he was aware of tied to prisons that wasn't going to be spent, that looks like it's going to reside in the Ways and Means Committee. And so there is a pool of money there, that there is some discretion to it, if I understand how these things work, that might relate to this bill.
And colleagues, I've relayed that to Ken Rocco in Legislative Fiscal, and he was very interested in that fund too, because they're always looking for ways to maybe support asks like this. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I do have another question. Yeah, so I'm pretty familiar with the Boys and Girls Club that's adjacent to the Rosa Parks School in North Portland, which is a great partnership. And I assume, even though there won't be a co-location kind of thing here, there'll be relationships between the various school districts. I mean, I don't know if it's just Reynolds, or, does Portland have an influence, Gresham, I don't know, but what sort of partnerships are you looking at?
Chair Gelser and Senator Dembro, several. We're currently in Park Rose and 3 Reynolds school districts serving, and once this club gets built, our goal will to be then spread and infill with other schools so that we can encroach further east as funds are raised. The partnerships that we're really excited about, Friends of the Children, which is a high-level mentorship organization. We originally were going to be partnered with them at the PAL site, which was a tight squeeze, but the mayor really implored upon us to move to this other facility, which is going to work out for the best. So they'll be 6 blocks away, and we'll be partnered sharing services. Next door to us is going to be Open Meadow. They're changing their name to Open, an alternative school. So they'll actually be housed right next door to us. They will get to save $1 million on their project because they will use our kitchen and our gym. Their students will be members, and they're going to serve students 7th to 8th grade, which is a new model, because the next wave you're going to start reading about over time is 8th grade dropout rates are starting to become a real factor. And then the third partner that we're hoping, when we first took this property over, the mayor had a parcel in mind for us, and he wanted to save the rest of it for future business use. Part of the reason they took this property was, if not, developers would come in and build more apartments. And apartments have become a real problem in Rockwood, and it's about 60% apartments now, and that's where a lot of the crime, it's low poverty, so that's where the crime goes. So they took it to prevent more apartments being built and for future business, and we went to them and asked, would you let this be a campus of services? And they've been terrific, and the city is just amazing to work with, and they said yes. So Open is secured, they're going to be there, and we're working with early childhood provider, the Family Relief Nursery and Mount Hood Head Start, to provide services from 0 to 5 on the 4th corner. There's sort of 4 corners to this parcel, and there's a current home on the one parcel that Drake 70s is operating their warehouse business from, and that's where the preschool would go, and it needs very little work to be modified into a preschool. So you would have 0 to 18. That's the continuum of services that we'll be serving through these partnerships that we're just really, really geeked about.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So next we have Mike Reese and Brian Gastelum. Welcome.
I'll break the ice for Brian
right.
and go first. Madam Chair and members of the committee, thank you so much for allowing us to come and speak to you today. My name is Michael Reese, and I'm here in my capacity as the chair of the board for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Portland. I'm also the recently retired Chief of Police for the Portland Police Bureau, and prior to my 25 years in law enforcement, I worked for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Portland as a club director at our Waddles Club in Southeast Portland. I know the organization well and have appreciated their good work in our community for many, many years. Our clubs are a safe and welcoming place for kids. The staff are caring professionals dedicated to enriching the lives of every child who walks in the door. The clubs serve a richly diverse population, mainly in areas impacted by economic need. I'm really excited about the opportunity for us to expand into Rockwood to serve the kids and the families there with a new facility. I've worked in that community as a deputy sheriff and as a police officer. In fact, then Sergeant Piluso, back many, many years ago, was my sergeant. And we worked in the Rockwood area in a collaborative relationship between the Gresham Police and Multnomah County Sheriff's Office. I know the challenges of the kids face in that area, with little in the way of positive places for them to grow and develop into capable adults. Our new club will fill that need, providing a safe place for them where they can participate in programs designed around academic enrichment, the arts, and athletic programs. We're asking for your financial support of this new facility in Rockwood. We need your help to make this club a reality for the kids and their families. Thank you.
Welcome, Brian.
Well, my name is Brian Gastelum Plata, and I've been a club member at Waddles Boys and Girls Club for 12 years. The Waddles Boys and Girls Club has made me who I am today. When I entered high school, I didn't think I'd go to college. Now I'm a senior and I've been accepted to 2 four-year universities. Growing up at Waddles Boys and Girls Club has made me a big influence on my life. If I hadn't joined the club, I don't think I'd be involved in sports. Being able to join sports leagues at the club like soccer, basketball, and flag football made me realize how much I love sports. Sports play a large role in my life today. The club has taught me how to reach out and help people in my life and in my community. It has also helped me develop a good work ethic in school and as well in sports. Being one of the oldest teens at Waddles has helped me be a leader and has shown me how to be a good role model to younger kids. The club has given me multiple opportunities to develop my leadership skills. I have coached basketball, soccer, flag football, and kickball. I've learned being a coach is about being a role model. Being a leader means I have to act right, listen, and be responsible. I have learned to combine my leadership skills with sports, and I am a successful scholar athlete at Cleveland High School. The club has always encouraged sportsmanship and hard work, and those are values I believe in. I am a 5-time varsity letterman, and I am a captain of the wrestling team, and as well as having played soccer and lacrosse. These experiences helped me lead my school wrestling team as both captain and coach. Helped me become a member of the Gresham Fire and Rescue Cadet Program, which has been a great experience for me. I could have not done this without the support and love I found at the Waddles Boys and Girls Club. The club has done so much for my family and me. When we have struggled financially, they have given us boxes full of food every year, helped us celebrate Christmas by giving us presents to put under our tree, and of course, giving us a place to call home. I'm passionate about the Boys and Girls Club, and I want to give back for everything they have done for me. Giving back is one of the best feelings I've experienced. Seeing people smile makes me feel good inside. To do more, I've never done community service because I have to. I do community service because I want to. And I have fun doing it. The club has given me opportunities to volunteer by joining Torch Club when I was younger, and now being an active member in Keystone Club. All these experiences have helped me decide what I want to do in the future, and that's become a firefighter. Firefighting will allow me to stay involved in my community, from helping someone from a life-threatening situation to just being a hero and making people feel safe. Growing up without a father. Sorry.
You're doing great.
Growing up without a father created a lot of challenges for me. I've had to teach myself how to be a man. I faced challenges throughout every aspect of my life. I remember watching my friends getting picked up by their parents after school. While my brother and I were left to take the city bus at the age of 6. And I would always have to get home before my mom. Because of this, I would have to make dinner for myself. My family and I have always struggled with money. Having to move to different places every year because my mom couldn't pay rent. It made it hard for me to get comfortable in my community. When I was 6 years old, I went to divorce therapy with my siblings. It was there when I was introduced to the Waters Boys and Girls Club. My mom signed me up, and that's when it all changed for me. The club gave me somewhere I could go after school. They gave me a roof over my head, food to eat, and a place to play. There was one community that would always be in my heart, and that's the Lens community. No matter how much I move around Portland, I know that the Waters Boys and Girls Club will be a place I can call home. The Boys and Girls Club has also introduced me to my role model, who I consider to be my second mom. That person is Ashley Campbell. She has been there for me since I was 6 years old. She is the person I go to for advice and the person I go to when I'm feeling down. She has inspired me in many ways and has always been there for my family and me. From mentors to sports, community service, and anything in between, the Boys and Girls Club have helped me grow and really find myself. I would like to thank the Waters Boys and Girls Club for everything they have done for me. Thank you.
Have you testified to a committee before?
No.
You're really good. You should do it more often, like a pro. Are there questions for this panel?
No, but you certainly brought tears to my eyes. Your story is heart-wrenching, and yet you are who you are today because of the Boys and Girls Club. I'm really excited for you.
If I could just add, Madam Chair, I'm sure that you will become a heroic firefighter, but you won't do a greater act of heroism than you've just given for us in telling us from your heart your story and helping to build, a future community for people like you. So thank you for coming forward.
Well, and good luck in college next year, 2 four-year institutions. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Will you be the first in your family to go to college?
My sister, too. She was a Boys and Girls Club member as well, and she works for the club now. She goes to Reed College. So.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, thank you so much for making time to come down here today. You did a really great job for the club today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You did too, Mr. Reese.
Glad I went first.
Is there anybody else that would like to be heard on Senate Bill 500? Because you've got a really tough act to follow. Seeing none, I am going to close the public hearing on Senate Bill 500.